Hello, everyone. Welcome to the end of week market wrap up, where we go through stocks, we go through forex, we go through crypto, we go through the entire market to just trying to figure out what happened this week and potentially what could go on into the following weeks. And what a week we had. It was an amazing week, and it was an amazing week for the Stats Edge Pro community. We had some really great trades. We waited for some pullbacks and some names and got heavily rewarded for doing so. If you want access to my algorithmically designed watch list of the stocks that all have trading plans around them, make sure you go to statsedgetrading.com, click on Stats Edge Pro. You can get started there. If you just want to make sure that I can email you with this free content that I put out all the time, again, go to Stats Edge Pro, sign up for the email list there as well. A lot of cool stuff going on there. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's take a look at what happened this week. And what a no better place to start than looking at Bitcoin, as we always do. Where is Bitcoin? Right down here. So we talked a lot about this potential zone here for a period of time, where it looked like Bitcoin was absolutely going to fall apart. Ended up not being the case at all, where we had this really ugly looking candle that looked very, very bad. But then we ended up kind of coming back to this zone, we could call it right here. And an inside week last week, 2 days to go, but looks like we're breaking out this week. So I'm watching this potential bull flag that we're seeing here in Bitcoin just to see if we could get a break higher on that currency. That would be super, super interesting to me. Now, Ethereum is following suit, but my target is going to be Bitcoin because if you just look, you can see the relative weakness in Ethereum. I want to buy the strongest. I think Bitcoin right now is the strongest. So that's what I'm going to participate in and on any sort of continued breakout. Now, full disclosure, I already have some uh, just because I liked that it was breaking this inside week, but I'm going to look to add if we can get above these highs. So, kind of a starter position. I really want to be big in this name if we end up breaking out of this long-term cup and handle, you could call it, into new highs. I think we're definitely going to get a nice move overall if that occurs. So that is Bitcoin. Interesting, nice little push there as well. Taking a look at some of the other, I don't know, defensive assets, we could call it. We have XAU or gold making new highs. And if we look at the daily chart, nice little push. So we pulled back down to hit this zone right here earlier in the week, and then we bounce from there. So gold is continuing to look nice. It's doing this thing over and over again where we have a consolidation and then a break to new highs, and then we have a consolidation and then a break to new highs. As long as that trend continues, I'm going to be holding my gold shares and my gold positions, but I like the look of that. Silver looked like a dog here earlier. Let me just delete this line. But yeah, I talked about, hey, that it may have been a failed top right here. Looks like it's not a failed top. And man, do I like things that are not failed top. So a great push on silver here. So I'm going to be watching silver next week for any kind of weakness at all. I definitely want to look to take a potential trade there on silver because if you look at this long term, we had a breakout, we had a retest, and now it looks like we might be going. So from a shorter term basis, I want to look to be long this name. We take a look quickly at the dollar, and we had a pretty sizable breakdown in the dollar this week. Now we still have these lows right here, but we are under this 101 area that was very important for the dollar. Now that we're below that, we look a little bit stretched here on the dollar. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a dollar rally for a period of time just to get some sort of relief bounce, especially because we closed right at this low right here. But it looks like we are breaking out of this. How long does this go back? This 2 year almost channel to the downside. If that's going to continue, then there's going to be a push to be had here on names like the euro. So euro US dollars looks like we could be getting a nice breakout. Again, this anchored VWAP lined up perfectly with what we saw there. If we anchor VWAP from this high, you can see we came back in to retest it and now we bounce. So it just looks like we are, just call this wedge or what have you. Looks like we're breaking out here on the euro on the weekly chart. So any sort of pullback in the euro, I'm going to look to be a buyer there as well. And then last but not least, I want to take a look at USD CAD, not just because I'm Canadian, but it's trying very, very hard, the Canadian dollar, to break out of this prior level. But that strength in, or that weakness in the dollar has been really what's holding this currency down. So if we get a reversal and we get a push higher on the dollar, even for a short term basis, it'll be interesting to see if that's magnified here in the Canadian dollar. That's been trying very, very hard to get through this particular zone. Now, let's pop into the stock market. Let's go here into trade ideas and let's take a look at what happened this week in the stock market, which, to be honest, not a lot. Another great week. Smaller, you can see huge rally, another huge rally. We are at this high. Like I said last week, I would be shocked if we didn't at least try to break those prior highs. And then maybe we take a little bit of a relief rally. But it just seems to me that if you have a high like this that everybody in the world is watching, the market's at least going to want to test to see if there's any stop losses above that high, and then we'll see. The reason I'm still thinking in this kind of choppy mode is simply because we are in a seasonably choppy period when it comes to the US election. During this period of time in which the market is indecisive of what's going on, then you have this period where it's, again, the whole market is choppy while it waits for some clarification on the potential next regime here. So a it could be a nice little break here as well. One thing that was super interesting to me was, if we go into just today's action, a massive rally in ARC. So today we had Jackson Hole, which was a big deal for people who follow that. Again, I'm a systematic trader. This is why, I'm opening up access to my algorithms over at StatSedge Pro, where if you want to be more systematic and you just want to know, I'm, interested in this stock, if it's this price, I'm interested in this stock, if it breaks this price, and shut out all the noise like I do. Again, go to statsedgetraining.com, check out StatSedge Pro there. The I don't follow these events, but it looks like it's supposed to be a pretty massive event in which, there's supposed to be a pretty sizable move one way or the other. Now, the Qs didn't do anything, just to, upset the most amount of people. Everyone's like, oh, this Jackson Hole is going to be a big deal. Intraday, a lot of volatility. At the end of the day, absolutely nothing occurred, right? And inside yesterday's range here, ARKK, however, broke out. And this is the first time I can say that there has been some relative strength in ARK in a long time. Now we're looking at the rest of the relative strength here, and it's exactly what we talked about before. Metals seem interesting. So we have gold, we have silver, and in this case, we have copper. This is copper miners because there's no copper ETF that I can find with any liquidity. But copper miners is looking very good as well. Now, QQE, the equal weight, also stuck inside. So one thing that is very interesting to me, and I kind of want to be the highlight of when we're looking at the equity plays here, is that we have um, the spies I just showed you almost hitting all-time highs, but then we have the equal weighted Qs and even the Qs themselves being relatively weak. And when is the last time we can say the Qs have been relatively weak to the S&P 500? That's showing me that there are some other sectors under the hood that are breaking out. So this equal weight ETF, RSP, just broke out into new highs. That is, again, not something you see if it's just being led by five stocks. The equal weight making new all-time weekly closing highs. So again, looks great for the market overall. We just need to make sure that we are mentally preparing ourselves to, yes, there can be some chop because we expect there to be chop, because that's the seasonality. If it doesn't occur, then we will continue to be long names. But that's what I'm seeing. That equal weight breaking out is a huge, huge deal to me. Last but not least, we have Tile. And this is just the discretionary name that is a systematic name that I'm now putting into the discretionary column as well. So Tile is something that showed up on the StatsEdge Pro watch list last week for a break of this line right here. I talked about when I do a video for members only where I go through every symbol on the list and kind of talk about what I like of each one. I talked about how I like this one the best just because of what a clear level it had here. Now, massive push, so I wouldn't be chasing it up here. I do own some, but what I'm looking for is to see if we can pull back into this zone to actually put some in my discretionary account. So I have fully systematic accounts where I just let the robots run. Then I have discretionary accounts in which I kind of look to take something. Generally, I want to split those out, but in this case, I want to get involved in this particular name if I can get any kind of pullback. But this tile, if you're looking for a longer term trade, looks very nice. Again, full disclosure, of course, I'm in because this was from the systems that I have here as well. So tile doing absolutely fantastic. I don't know what this company does, carpet and rug mills, but looks great. Last but not least, I just want to follow up with Baba, which we talked about last week. Continuing to do well, continuing to break out of this downtrend line, up 3 weeks in a row, just like the overall market, but continuing to hold strong with Baba. So I appreciate everyone for coming by. I appreciate you for tuning into this content. If you missed the last video I had on the channel was talking about systems and how if you're building systems or even just trading styles, how you can look to make sure the drawdowns are uncorrelated and what that means and how you can do that. So definitely check that out as well. Lastly, I have lowered the price of the Stats Edge trading plan course down to $50. It has done amazingly. The reviews I'm getting are absolute phenomenal for it. But now that I've launched Stats Edge Pro, I feel like I can lower the price of that. So if you want to have me walk through in like a 20 lesson course where I'm going to step by step teach you to build your own trading plan, you can get that now and forever for $50. So you go check that out as well over at Stats Edge Trading. Talk to you guys later and get away from the screens.